6-5 coming off that huge win against the Buffalo Bills. The Houston Texans in the thick of things in the AFC wildcard picture. Could be in the thick of things in the AFC South as well. The Indianapolis Colts await what exactly does CJ Stroud need to pick up from Davis Mills to have success as he returns to the starting quarterback position for the Houston Texans. DeMeco Ryans none too pleased with his offense. The Colts, no slouches on offense. Tight ends will be a part of the conversation, and plenty of your comments, questions, joys, and concerns. Welcome into the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. Hope everybody's having a wonderful holiday week. If you're having to work, hope you can make it to the holiday in one piece. If you're a retail worker, God bless you. If you're a restaurant worker, today it's one of the busiest eat out days in United States history. That's not what I'm looking for. It's one of the busiest days every year for eating out in the United States. So hopefully you can handle that. And it is Caffeine with Cody. One of our fantastic listeners brought this to me at Spanky's. And you know who you are. Please send me an email because I have a thank you that I'd like to send you. But our fantastic listeners brought me a Ghost Peaches. So Caffeine with Cody gets going with a Ghost Peaches this morning. Ooh, good crack. That's definitely peach. Oh, that is really good. Nice and crisp. Not an overwhelming peach flavor. That's good stuff right there. Probably don't eat a lot of peaches in my life. But I do have various peach-flavored things. So plenty to get to here on the show. But I want to start with a bit of a history lesson and hope for history to pseudo-repeat itself as well. Because in 2014, the Houston Texans started quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick for most of the season. They hit a bye week in about the middle portion of the season, and Bill O'Brien at the time made the switch from Ryan Fitzpatrick, who had not been playing poorly, but had not been playing real good or consistent, and made the switch to Ryan Mallett. Mallett got the opportunity to start a couple of games, and he wasn't super impressive in those couple of games, but Mallett had experience in that Patriot system. Ryan Mallett had experience operating and understanding what that Patriots system, what that type of offense required from the quarterback. And then when Fitzpatrick watched a little bit of Mallett's success, and there wasn't a lot of Mallett's success in those two games. I don't want to rewrite history. Ryan Mallett played well in those two games for what you expected out of Ryan Mallett, but ultimately the Texans weren't super impressive on offense. Mallett had some success running the offense that he was familiar with. Fitzpatrick took back over after Mallett's injury, and the first game that he took over, he threw 6 touchdowns against the Tennessee Titans. And it looked like Fitzpatrick had really found his groove. He understood how the offense was to operate. He understood what the offense could do for him and how he could maximize what that offense brought to the table. Nobody would debate you and seriously believe that Ryan Mallett had more talent than Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick was the more talented and better quarterback, but Mallett just had a little bit more experience in that system. He operated it well. And then when Fitzpatrick came back, he saw it, and he even talked about, kind of saw how it needed to go. I hope the same thing from CJ Stroud watching Davis Mills in those 3 games. Mills was not the most incredible offensive success story as the starter for 3 games. He had about 4 good quarters of football, and there was some solid play, and then there were some plays, specifically in this most recent game, where the offense didn't get much of anything going, okay? But Mills had some solid moments, and there was operation within that offense, and certainly things in addition to operating that offense that I feel like CJ Stroud could have watched, take those things, apply those things to Stroud's game, and help raise the ceiling of this offense when Stroud applies what talent he possesses in the quarterback position and applies that to what this offense could do. Similar to 2014, nobody's going to win the debate or even really make the argument that Davis Mills is a more talented quarterback than CJ Stroud. None of us believe that. Even the most staunchest of Mills supporters should agree that CJ Stroud is more talented than Davis Mills. But Mills had some really nice moments in those 3 starts, including 2 of the best quarters of football that we have seen from a quarterback this year, especially when you factor in situation and opponent. The second quarter against the Buffalo Bills, Davis Mills was very good. He was borderline excellent in that quarter when they had one of the better quarters of the season. And then obviously the finish to the Jacksonville Jaguars game, Davis Mills operated that offense and made enough plays to assist and complete that comeback that saved the season against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's not like Mills lit the world on fire and was some incredible, amazing player, similar to Mallett in 2014. But he did things that I hope CJ Stroud can take. What are those things? To me, there are 3 particular things that I felt like Davis Mills did really well that I hope CJ Stroud will apply as he re-enters the starting quarterback spot for the Houston Texans. What can Stroud learn from Mills? Number 1, rip it. Just grip it and rip it. I'll tell you one thing that I loved watching Davis Mills do. He did not hold on to that football. Davis Mills was not trying very often to extend plays. He was not trying to go through progressions to get to the 3rd or 4th or 5th passing option. Davis Mills saw guy, threw ball to guy. That's what Davis Mills did. He was content and confident in his abilities and in the offense to see it and rip it. That has been one of my biggest criticisms of CJ Stroud in the 2024, start of 2025 lull from what he was in 2023. CJ Stroud in 2023, not reckless, but almost fearless in his willingness to grip it and rip it, see it and throw it. And yes, some of that is the short pass. Take what the defense gives you. Stroud has done that a little bit better in 2025 than he did in 2024. But I still want to see, bam, Nico Collins is there. Grip it, rip it, CJ Stroud. Jaden Higgins, hey, he's going to run the route. He's going to be where he needs to go. Grip it, rip it. One of the big grip it, rip it things is when Jalen Knowles on the field, I feel like CJ Stroud trusts him and will get him the football and will do a good job getting him the football. Grip it, rip it. Davis Mills did it. I want CJ Stroud to do it when he returns to the starting quarterback job this week for the Houston Texans. See guy, throw guy football, and don't hold on to the ball when you have open receivers and you have options to throw the ball to. What can Stroud learn from Mills? Number 2, trust the offensive line. Now, this is kind of rich for me to say because I don't know that the offensive line to start the year instilled a lot of trustworthy moments in CJ Stroud. But this offensive line with Davis Mills under center, and in part because of Davis Mills, they played a little bit better, and they've had some really nice moments as an offensive line, certainly in pass protecting, but even in the run blocking, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But Davis Mills has had some of those moments where you've just got to implicitly trust the 5 big uglies up front. And I say big uglies affectionately. You've just got to implicitly trust those guys. You've got to stand and deliver with the idea that, yeah, you might get hit, but you might also be blocked up well enough that you're not getting hit. Again, this is more about the offensive line raising their level from where it was when Stroud was in and keeping it at that level as Stroud returns than mostly about Stroud. But Davis Mills, there was stepping up in the pocket. There was staying in the pocket. There was the stand and deliver that was a hallmark of CJ Stroud's 2023 season that was so excellent that had been a little missing in 2024 and 2025. And I can't get out of the back of my mind what DeMeco Ryans said about rookie quarterback Cam Ward ahead of that Titans game. He said, one of the things that Ward still does is he tries to escape out the back of the pocket and try to make a bigger play than he needs to make. And I'm paraphrasing there. And I just feel like that's something that CJ Stroud has done a time or two too many as the quarterback of the Houston Texans. I mean, the scramble out the back. Oh, goodness, here comes the big rush. All of a sudden, what should be a 2-3 yard loss is a 7-8 yard loss. I don't like that. I want this offensive line to stay the same from the Buffalo game. I believe that's an offensive line that can pass block really well compared to some of the previous iterations of this offensive line. And I believe that offensive line also can help them run the football. So Davis Mills, he trusted the 5 guys up front, partly because they played better, partly because he doesn't have the mobility that CJ Stroud does to maybe try to make something else happen, but just a tiny bit more trust in that offensive line is something that I hope CJ Stroud learns from Davis Mills. And finally, you knew this one was coming. Feed Nico Collins. Feed the beast. Davis Mills did an excellent job in targeting and completing passes to Nico Collins. He had the double-digit targets in the first start for Mills that led to 7 receptions for Nico Collins. He had the 10 targets in the second start with Mills that led to 9 catches for Nico Collins. And then the 3 for 3, I believe it was 3 for 3 in the last game. That wasn't enough. We all know it wasn't enough. I don't know why we can watch every offense across football that has a super good number 1 wide receiver get their ball consistently to their guy, and the Texans can't do that consistently. And I get that Buffalo knows what Nico Collins brings to the table, and they certainly had some things for Nico Collins in that, but still, Nick Caley, Davis Mills, you got to do a better job getting the ball to Nico Collins. That's something I hope CJ Stroud does really well. Now, Stroud's last start where he finished the game, the San Francisco 49ers, he didn't have Nico Collins in that game, but he spread the ball around, and it felt like coming out of that game, it was like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be done. Spread the ball around. Get it to Xavier Hutchinson, Jalen Nolan, Jaden Higgins, and this guy and that guy. It felt like that was kind of the thought process. And while I don't disagree that when clicking and operating at one of its highest levels, you do have options to get the ball all over the field, I still feel like this offense operates at its best when they are getting Nico Collins the football, when they are putting stress on the opposing defense with Nico Collins, either by targeting him and completing the ball, or even just targeting him and making things easier for the other 4 pass catchers, sometimes 3 pass catchers because they have the jumbo in there from time to time, making things easier for those. This is as much a Nick Caley thing as it is a CJ Stroud thing, but one thing that I loved from Davis Mills, amongst many other things that I loved from his 3 starts, was he was willing to throw it to Nico Collins when it did not clearly appear that Nico Collins was already open or going to be open. Trust a star wide receiver to go out there and be a star on a consistent basis. That is one of the things I absolutely hope carries over from Davis Mills' time as the starting quarterback to CJ Stroud's return to the starting quarterback. That grip it and rip it, trust that offensive line, and maybe that ceiling for this offense with the return of CJ Stroud as the starting quarterback can be even higher than what we have seen. We'll get to your comments, your questions, your joys, and your concerns. Super chats go to the front of the line. Membership, mentions, and comments go to the front of the line. We have the Tommy Togiai emoji, the custom emoji for you members to use. So feel free to hit that in the chat as well. And feel free to visit my friends at Sleeper when you want to play Daily Fantasy. Daily Fantasy with Sleeper is fantastic fun. I love what these guys do with Daily Fantasy. They make it so easy. And Daily Fantasy is just making a couple of statistical predictions, putting them together in one entry, and then multiplying your money if you get all of your predictions correct. Daily Fantasy is so easy, and it's even easier with Sleeper. It's also a fantastic scores app as you watch all your various sports, from hockey to basketball and certainly football, with Friday and Saturday being huge college football days, Sunday with a huge NFL day. The Sleeper Scores app is great. Right now, when you sign up at Sleeper with my code Stoots, STOOTS, you're going to get a free $20 entry, no deposit required. And if you make a deposit, you'll get the deposit match up to $100. So put in 100, get 100. Put in 50, get 50. But even if you don't make a deposit, you'll still have that free $20 entry. no deposit needed. We will put a sleeper entry together later this week on the program when we do the checkmark game on Friday morning. Get you ready for Colts and Texans. So terms and conditions do apply, my friends at Sleeper, but that code Stoots, 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 is going to give you that $20 no deposit entry and the deposit match up to $100. Appreciate it, my friends. Sleeper for sponsoring this video. Let's get to the comments, the questions, the joys, the concerns. Mike, the membership renewing for you. Thank you. JB Bubblehead, appreciate you. ESG Soccer. Tea time, 11 a.m. to forget about JCU frauds. Happy Thanksgiving. ESG has done a pretty good job of keeping track of the old John Carroll crew. Okay. JB Allen, the Annihilator. Appreciate you for the super chat, my friend. Happy pre-Thanksgiving, Houston football family. I'm thankful Trent Brown is healthy and on the field. Also thankful for Stroud and Petrie returning. JB, thankful for you and your incredible support here of the channel and the comments, the super chats. Very thankful. Hope you have a fantastic and happy Thanksgiving. And I wish that to everybody as well here in the chat. But let's get through some of your comments, your questions. We know Mike's in here. Jake's been rolling since early this morning. JB's in here. Jay, good to see you. Patrick, appreciate you. Jose, thank you. Dat Boy Booby. Love that name. Love that name. Grand Rising from Chewy. Thank you, sir. Nick, good to see you. Good morning and happy Thanksgiving to you as well. JB's going with the blackout coffee this morning. Jay McDonald wants you to hit that like button. Nick Jones, I'm an original AMP guy. Hard to find up here, though. Yeah, some of those energy drinks, they had their moment. They disappear. It's very interesting, the energy drink landscape. I believe it's a multi-billion-dollar business for a couple of different companies. I have my standard issue company coffee ready to go. That's good caffeine there for you. Mike's already had 2 black cherry venoms and a cup of coffee. Hey, you've been up early. Yeah, Ryan Mallett, unfortunately, no longer with us. That was a sad deal when that happened. But yeah, so RIP Ryan Mallett. We really did have some quarterbacks those years, huh? Well, 2014 alone, you played Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Mallett, Fitzpatrick again, Tom Savage. Savage had a season-ending injury coming in for Fitzpatrick, who had a season-ending injury. And then you called Case Keenum, got him out of the deer blind, and he went in there in the final 2 weeks of the season and had some really impressive performances from Bill O'Brien. And that kind of got Keenum back into football, and he's basically never left. I don't even know if he's had any time to go to the deer blind since then. 2014 was a weird year, and then you started 2015 with Mallett and Hoyer. Mallett obviously had his issues trying to get on the field. They went with Hoyer. He sucked. 2016, Brock Osweiler. That was awful. The Tom Savage experience, back to Brock Osweiler. And then 2017, the fake Tom Savage start to start the year, and then Deshaun Watson. And then you had Watson all the way to 2021 when obviously all his bull crap happened. He wanted out. Couldn't trade him initially. Yada, yada, yada. John got his caffeine this morning. Myron Benson, if Haley, which I believe you mean Kaylee, if Kaylee chokes down the stretch, he has to go. Yeah, I would think that they'll probably make that change. I used to be on the Kaylee needs to go train, but if we replaced Kaylee, it couldn't be with a first-year play caller. I don't know which vet play caller would be available. Not Stefanski, though. I do feel like someone with some experience would be intriguing. Obviously, the name Mike McDaniel would be great. If Kevin Stefanski wanted to be an offensive coordinator and the Browns let him go, I would do everything in my power to sign him up and make him the next offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans. He would be an excellent offensive coordinator. I think Kevin Stefanski will have some head coaching jobs and, in fact, could probably be the head coach of the New York Giants if he got fired by the Browns. The Browns would be stupid to fire Kevin Stefanski. Nick Jones says, I thought Mills showed a pretty high level of intelligence. Hopefully Stroud leans on that more if he hasn't. Yeah, Davis Mills knew what to do with the football to maximize what he could bring to the table. Now, CJ has some abilities outside of what Mills possesses that allows him to hopefully raise the ceiling of this offense. Don't get sacked for an 18-yard safety. That'd be a good start. Is Kaylee and Josh McDaniels' offense the same Pat's offense? Because May has been sacked second most, 39% pressure rate. No Nico Collins last time I checked. He's killing it. I wouldn't say the same. Probably there's some differences. Obviously, they're going to have some carryover and some crossover. The Patriots, while improving their offensive line, still have a pretty tough offensive line. They had a tough offensive line last year. And Drake Mays just played some excellent football. He's got some pretty decent wide receivers. Hunter Henry's been a good piece for him at tight end. Stephon Diggs has had some moments. Boute's had some moments. Pop Douglas. They've kind of, by committee, they could really use a star wide receiver over there in New England. So I'll be interested to see how they kind of continue to build that. But May has been really good. He's played much better football than CJ has played this year. That's one of the big things. I have a feeling CJ is going to deliver dot after dot versus the Colts. Stroud looked like he was settling in versus 49ers and the Denver game before injury. He did not look bad in Denver. I know he got concussed, and I know they didn't put up like a tremendous amount of points while he was in there. He only played a quarter plus, but he did not look bad against Denver. I was excited to watch him against that Denver defense and a really test your mettle game there for CJ Stroud. So that's a good point, JB. HDAV Traveler, good to see you, my friend. Fantastic to hang out with you at Spanky's last Friday. Also, where my friend delivered me this wonderful Ghost Peach energy drink. Make sure you know who you are to send me an email. I want to send you a thank you gift. CJ needs to get rid of it quick. They still miss the checkdowns to running backs feed Nico. Yeah, a couple of extra targets to Woody Marks wouldn't hurt. And not going to hurt my feelings, and it'd probably make that offense run a little smoother. They forced Higgins and Kirk to have a breakout game by targeting them so much last game. Yeah, you give Christian Kirk enough chances. He, I guess, will come through for you. He will come through for you. So be interesting to see how they mix it all in with CJ coming back and what works with him. And again, he's the guy that's had the most success with Jalen Noel. It felt like Davis Mills couldn't find Jalen Noel to save his life. But CJ Stroud's found him for a handful of really big plays. So I'm excited to see CJ and Jalen Noel get going again, plus keep some of the stuff that has been rolling, specifically Jaden Higgins and how well he's been playing, keep that going as well. What's the latest on Jimmy Ward? Not much to report. Hasn't been practicing. Still a little bit of a ways away. Biggest reason for the CJ and Mills conversation, which I've recently learned my face isn't allowed to discuss. We were 0-5 in one-score games. Mills was 3-1, 3-0 in games that he started. Certainly. I don't know that anybody's going to say that the Titans are a really good football team, but the Jags have had their moments. They're certainly in the playoff conversation right now. The Bills are an excellent team. Those are two pretty good wins. Obviously, you wish you didn't have to have the comeback against Jacksonville. Those are two pretty good wins there for Davis Mills. But look, I said it on SNL this week. There is a 12-quarter amnesty for CJ Stroud. He can do whatever he wants for the next 3 games. For the next 12 quarters of football, CJ Stroud can do whatever the hell he wants. I don't care if he walks out there and spikes the ball into the ground. I'm not saying a damn thing about should Davis Mills, will Davis Mills, Davis Mills, Davis Mills. 12 quarters of amnesty. Okay? 12 quarters of amnesty. Pete, happy to have you in at listening from work or watching from work. Patrick, never forget Stefanski beat out D'Amico Ryans for Coach of the Year by a nose. I believe it was 1 vote. I believe it was 1 first-place vote. Yeah, the progressions, and when you see it, get rid of it. That's my big thing. Progressions are great. You can see the guys all day long, but if you can't rip it, who cares? The progressions, you're right. That's what I would love to see. Jerome notes that Jaden Higgins has had some opportunities that they just haven't been able to get into football. You're absolutely right, Jerome. Even in this most recent game, Jaden Higgins probably could have had a 100-yard game and then some against the Bills. But Mills missed him a few times. CJ's had some moments where he's missed Jaden Higgins. I'm very excited to see if this Jaden Higgins thing has turned into a solid foundation for him that he continues to build on. This was the type of season Draftniks expected Jaden Higgins to have at the NFL level. I can remember all the way back at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama, talking to draft people, talking to people about Jaden Higgins. It's like, man, this guy's going to get into your NFL team. He's going to get into your NFL locker room. It's going to take him a minute to really get his feet level and squared. But once he does get his feet solidly on solid ground, he's going to be able to start taking off for your team. And when you know it, Higgins has started to do that here in the middle portion of the season towards the back end. And if that continues, you get good Nico Collins, you mix in a little bit more Jalen Noel. That's what we've been asking for. That's what we've been hoping for with this offense. There's plenty to discuss with this offense, including DeMeco Ryans' disgust with this offense. It's all about that in just a second, right after I tell you about my friends at TDECU, your credit union. It's not just a slogan. They mean it. When you're a member at TDECU, they explain everything that you can take advantage of, from the various styles of checking accounts and savings account to maybe having your business account with them, to the perks that come with the TDECU Houston Texans debit card, like 15% off of the online team store. You can find out all you need to know about TDECU at tdecu.org/Texans. And if you want to go into one of those 15 greater Houston area locations, they're going to have plenty of time to explain to you exactly how TDECU works and how they can make your money work better for you than other places where you put your money. TDECU is a proud sponsor of the Houston Texans. They're a proud sponsor of SNL, and we hope that you give them the opportunity for you to put your money with them and reap all the fantastic benefits of being a member at TDECU. Memberships required. They're insured by the NCUA. We appreciate them for sponsoring SNL, the locker room, and of course right here on Houston Football with Cody Stoots. Let's talk about this offense. DeMeco Ryans is not quick to criticize his offense. He's had moments where it just hasn't been good enough, and he's kind of leaned on the, just execution. Yeah, we got to execute better. But sometimes he's been specific and critical. And when he ventures into the very critical area with the offense, the eyebrow, like the Dwayne The Rock Johnson, kind of goes up a little bit. And you kind of think like, oh, okay. DeMeco Ryans not happy with the offense. They must know that. And they must be able to remedy that. The second half against the Buffalo Bills was awful from an offensive perspective. It was nowhere near good enough. And DeMeco Ryans was not pleased with this offense. From Monday's press conference, a couple of moments about this offense. I thought one small one when I asked him a question, and then another one when he just poignantly was critical of the offense. Listen here as I ask about the rushing attack and then where DeMeco Ryans takes his answer.
What went well with the rushing attack early on in the game against Buffalo? What are some of those things that you could maybe carry into future games with that offensive line that you had out there?
Yeah, for our offensive line, the rushing game, we have to just stay connected on our blocks. I think when we have double teams and we're coming off at the second level, if we stay connected and we finish our blocks with the right mindset, and we have good running lanes. I thought Woody ran the ball well, especially like on our fourth down play when he's one-on-one right in the hole with the defender, like for him to play behind his pass, really keep his feet moving. Like that's how you have to run the football. So we continue to block it well. We continue to make good decisions with our running backs, running the ball well, and we can run the ball effectively.
Now, that wasn't the most critical thing, and I didn't feel like he took it in a fully negative area, but hey, you did some really good things. Hey, we really got to just kind of stay on those blocks a little bit longer. And then he was pretty complimentary of Woody Marks, which, by the way, Woody Marks, there are a lot of Woody Marks fans across this country, probably from a fantasy perspective. They probably got him thinking, oh, okay, he's going to be the fantasy running back. But I saw a lot of fantasy people for this week's matchup saying you got to go with Woody Marks. I was on a show in Buffalo yesterday, and they're big Woody Marks fans. And so I'm a big Woody Marks fan as well, from all the way back in Mobile, Alabama at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, when they drafted him, thought he's going to be a great compliment to Joe Mixon. Unfortunately, witness protection took over for Joe Mixon, but Woody Marks has been good nonetheless. But DeMeco Ryans, not super positive about his offense, but not overly critical. He got overly critical, or maybe appropriately critical is probably the better way to say this, when he was asked about the second half of the Houston Texans game against the Buffalo Bills from an offensive perspective. The head coach was not pleased with that output.
We still got to do a better job moving the ball in the second half. I don't think our second half offense was good enough. And, so we have to continue to strive, continue to get better at executing the plays, calling it better. We got to do a much better job, coaches, players, everybody. We got to be able to move the ball way more than we did in the second half. We're going to finish games the right way.
When critical of pieces of the offense, it's usually been a little bit more of a generalization, execution, and it's been a little bit heavier on the players. But everybody has to be better on offense. And this just kind of threw the antenna up a little bit. It's just on the radar here. The DeMeco Ryans, through 11 games, not happy with where that offense was in a key, critical, and important matchup on the schedule. Now, that may change with the starting quarterback coming back and the type of opponent that they have and the situations they may be in. That may change. And he may have just kind of understood that what they did in the second half can't be replicated. And that's one of those like messaging things where it's like, hey, that can never happen again. Don't put the defense in that type of position. Again, like you've been doing for a lot of the season, for maybe whole games, whereas this one was only the second half where they were really just inept on offense. But it just threw the radar up, or threw the antenna up, came up on the radar. I felt like Detroit prime time, specifically the second half last year, was where Bobby Slowick really got into, you may need to change this guy. The second half of the Bills game and the meekness with which Nick Caley called that game and the performance of the offense, which was one scoring drive on a short field from the defense and 4 punts, including 3 and outs. With all of that, it's on the radar, and it's now here publicly. Hey, that wasn't good enough. And that's not a consistent comment or conversation from DeMeco Ryans. So just on the radar, unhappy with the offense. They've got to be better. Obviously, we know that. You know that. I know that. We all know the offense must be better. And CJ Stroud hopefully will help that. I believe he will. I am excited and hopeful for what CJ Stroud can bring to the table here in his return to the starting quarterback position. And maybe he will help solve a lot of things. And maybe Nick Caley, when calling the game with Davis Mills, has understood and unlocked some things that work well with CJ Stroud. But the offense, I don't want to say being put on notice, but they get a little warning. If DeMeco Ryans was a traffic cop, he gave a very stern warning. It wasn't quite a ticket, but he gave a very stern warning to that offense. What you did in the second half against Buffalo, that was not good enough. That was not good enough, and it needs to be much better. And if it is much better, the Texans will go to some very incredible places. And if it's not much better, well, Bobby Slowick 2.0 might occur. And Nick Caley might be going to a new place, and DeMeco Ryans might be going back to the well looking for a new offensive coordinator. Your comments, your questions, your joys, and your concerns. We'll get to some of those right after I tell you about my friends at Texans Turf. Texans Turf. Ooh, man, Landry's backyard. He went and did all the shopping. I remember talking to him when he got the house, and they were putting all the different things in there they wanted in the house. He's like, man, these turf companies. I finally found one that I love. Dan the Man is the guy. And now Dan the Man is a fantastic supporter of Houston football, SNL, and the locker room. And he can be a fantastic turf guy for your home. From play areas to putting greens, improving the value of your home and saving you time because you no longer have to worry about all the yard work. Heck, you put in turf, get rid of the mower, get rid of the edger, get rid of the weed eater, okay? You got the turf out there. It's always green. It's always clean. It drains really well. Dan the man, no job too small, no job too big. You want to put a whole damn soccer field in your backyard? Dan can do it for you. Dan can do it all when it comes to turf. It's customized to exactly what you want. Maybe you want a play area over here and a putting green over here. Imagine walking out your back door and going and working on the short game. Imagine how much better golf would be if you could putt. Imagine if you could work on your putting all the time in the backyard. Texans Turf can do that and so much more for you. Check them out, TexansTurf.com, TexansTurf.com. Schedule that free estimate right there on TexansTurf.com. We appreciate Dan and Texans Turf for supporting the show. Appreciate all of you for supporting the show as well. Albert asks, the real question is, will the defense be able to hump Daniel Jones up and down the field? Somebody watched the Texans Collective the other night. JB Allen, I believe we've done a disservice to both our Cyclone rookies. There's a lot more there. I'm not saying both of them should have been Tank Dell from 2023, but there's definitely more to what they have been given here. Mike asks, is Jamal Williams still a free agent? He'd be perfect to pair with Marks, at least better than Chubb in the red zone. Jamal Williams is a free agent, and I would think that they're going to have to add at least one more body to the equation here in the running back room, right? They're going to have to add one more body. Dime on his member moment, requirements to get back to the era of good vibes. The era of good vibes is over. The next era, which I don't know that we've necessarily entered a new era here for the Houston Texans, the next era will have a totally different name, a totally different feel, and a totally different goal. But the era of good vibes lasted for a very long time. From the moment D'Amico Ryans was hired, he added to it with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson's drafting, and then carried it into 2 AFC South championships and some playoff victories. And then the era of good vibes over this year. So the era of good vibes is over. It will never come back. I do still have a couple of era of good vibes stickers hanging around. The era of good vibes is over. We will get a different era at some point, but that will have to become apparent to us, and we'll have to understand exactly what that era is. And while I love me some U.S. history, not every single year of U.S. history had an era that was associated with it. Some of it was thrust into various eras, but wasn't totally with those eras. Of course, the era of good vibes is a takeoff of the era of good feelings the United States went through for a while. Mr. Finger Guns got my sweet new Houston football hats yesterday. I'll be in Indy this weekend, rocking the new gear. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Please take a picture, send it to me on social media. I would love to see that. The Houston football gear on the road. There's a handful of hats left. There's a link in the description down below if you would like to purchase one of those hats. I have a handful of them left. We had some people purchase them at Spanky's the other day, so I greatly appreciate the support from that standpoint on the hat front. And we're working on T-shirts. We really are. We're working on T-shirts for you. We're very much hoping to have T-shirts for folks here, SNL T-shirts here in the near future. Might even sneak in a couple of Houston football T-shirts here and there. We'll see. JB Allen, Woody runs the ball extremely well, but I'm always nervous this next tackle is an injury. We have no depth at running back. There's a lack of depth at running back, certainly. And I wonder if they're going to add a body here at some point to that running back room and that running back situation. He does have some oh no, is Woody Marks done? And then he's out there in the next play. So there's a little bit of that to Woody Marks. Mustard Paper, good to see you. Mustard Paper came in from Austin to hang out at Spanky's the other day. Greatly appreciated his presence. Thank you for coming out, my friend. And good to see you here in the chat today. This is the most consistently harsh D'Amico has been on the offense. Yes, it is, Patrick. And it's worth noting, taking note, that D'Amico had these things to say about the offense. And just kind of keep it on your radar. Keep it in the back of your mind. It's week, what is it, 13, is when the head coach is pretty critical of the offense. If you could have any OC from the past now retired to be the Texans OC, who would you pick and why? Well, I'd pick Kyle Shanahan. Kubiak was never the OC. He called the plays, but he was the head coach. But as far as the offensive coordinators, I'd have Kyle Shanahan. Even that version of Shanahan back then probably had a little juice. Obviously, if we're letting us pick head coaches, I'd pick Kubiak. But yeah, I'd pick Shanahan. The only thing Mills did better than Stroud was taking care of the ball. This defense can win the position battle. I thought Mills actually did a couple of different things. I didn't think he panicked when there was pressure. Stroud sometimes panics when there's pressure. And I thought Mills got rid of the ball quicker than C.J. Stroud gets rid of the ball. I think there were a few things that Mills did better than the early version of C.J. Stroud this season. If Kaylee's let go, they better not go after another rookie play caller. They need an old veteran play caller, possibly an ex-head coach who is better as an OC than a head coach. I hear Chip Kelly's available these days. And JB Allen got his hats last week, and he showed them off on Facebook. I greatly appreciated that, JB. CJ was doing good before the injury. I just feel like he needs to cut back on the turnovers. And you know what? You can live with some of the aggressiveness and some of the turnovers if you're putting together a lot of explosive and big plays. Like if there's consistency to the offense and you're putting together big offensive outputs, you can live with a, hiccup, turnover, and the defense can survive a turnover. Poncierios, good to see you. Are we in the you guys good era? Might be something to that. Zach says, CDSPN saying Texas can still win the division. I know anything is possible, but is it realistic? Certainly. You are going to have to defeat the Indianapolis Colts twice. And you're going to have to defeat the Indianapolis Colts this weekend to keep your chances of the division alive. You beat the Colts this weekend, and you'll be one game behind them, and you'll have a tough schedule for them, and you'll need to go through the rest of this stretch here, and you're probably going to have to go 5-1. And even then, you may need some help in the Colts schedule and in the Jaguars schedule. You may need some help in those bits of the schedule to win the division, but it's certainly possible. The division goes away, though, if you don't beat the Indianapolis Colts this weekend. So you need that victory this weekend to keep the division alive. Man, Stefanski would be an awesome OC. I'll keep dreaming. Yeah, it may only happen in our dreams, Nick. It may only happen in our dreams. It's snowing with 50-mile-per-hour wind. Quick send Kaimi up here. Kaimi wants nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with that. That sounds awful. Mike says, I'm confident we'll pass the Jags. If we beat the Colts and CJ elevates himself, we'll win the division. It's worth noting, the 8-3 Jacksonville Jaguars and the 6-5 Houston Texans were in this same spot in 2023. And the next thing you know, Texans won the division. The Colts, or the Jaguars, did not win the division. And the Colts were still around. Oh, when you know it, Colts will win the division 8-3. The other team's still around, and the Texans here are sitting at 6-5. History repeats itself. Wouldn't that be nice? Age and injuries aside, this Texans team has 2015 Broncos vibes, complete with backup quarterback momentum. The old Osweiler days up there in Denver. Yeah, Brock had a pretty good season, and that defense was excelente for Denver. Von Miller was just on another level. They had an excellent defensive backfield. Really good. Christian Longoria. Cody, believe it or not, this is the first time I'm catching your morning live stream. Appreciate you for catching it, Christian. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for jumping in. Inkwell, this defense plus rookie Stroud, do we win the Super Bowl? The idea of that ceiling keeps me up at night. Look, if you get rookie CJ Stroud coming out of this break that he had with the concussion, and this defense plays the same way that it played against Buffalo, yeah, you win the Super Bowl. Why not? Why wouldn't you win the Super Bowl if you had that combination? Long way to go over there. Long way to go over there on offense, though. And you got a tough opponent this weekend. Speaking of that defense, lots of stuff that DeMeco Ryans likes about this Indianapolis Colts team, including that their passing attack, no slouch.
For the Colts, you can see they've been a very explosive offense. Like what's powered them this year. I think Daniel Jones is playing the most productive that he's played in his career. So Shane has done a good job of putting him in positions, putting guys around him to really make the plays he needs to make. So you have explosive receivers on the outside. The rookie tight end is doing a good job as well.
They do a really good job, or they've done a really good job, I should say, with the construction of that Colts passing attack. They've made it easy for Daniel Jones. He's got Pierce as the deep threat. He's got Downs in the slot for some success there. He's got Pittman as the route technician that just does everything really well. Tyler Warren is obviously fantastic. So they've done a really good job constructing that passing offense for Daniel Jones and making it a little bit easier for him. And, of course, it's easy when one of the MVP candidates is carrying the football for the Indianapolis Colts.
And then, of course, running the football, Jonathan Taylor. And can't say enough good things about him as a running back. Just his balance, his power, the explosiveness. Like, you have to be able to set the edge because he can take the explosive run 50-plus yards and take it to the house. He can hit cutback lanes, right, and make you pay. So it's going to take everything we have, defensively, first and foremost, stopping the run.
And with Jonathan Taylor's success, the threat of Jonathan Taylor, and it creates opportunities for that play action success. DeMeco Ryans noting, you got to have the eyes, Chico. They never lie. Got to have the eyes ready for what the Colts bring to the table when it comes to play action.
But we know that's not the only emphasis with this offense. They do a good job of their play action pass game, like really timing it up at the proper time, really catching a lot of defenses off guard, and they're creating a lot of explosives there as well. So you got to play true. So I'm telling our defense, you have to play true. You have to play with elite eye discipline, elite awareness to what your job is and being on it. Because if not, Shane has always done a good job, offensively of creating, eye candy, as I call it, to mess with guys' eyes, to put their guys in position to make plays.
This is yet another chapter in the Shane Steichen, DeMeco Ryans battles that will occur for many years to come. I don't see Steichen going anywhere for the Indianapolis Colts. His offense has had some roller coaster moments, but they've had some really nice moments against DeMeco Ryans' defenses. And DeMeco Ryans' defenses have had some nice moments against Shane Steichen's offenses. This is yet another chapter in what these two do and what these two will do for a long time here in the AFC South. So I'm very excited to see what DeMeco Ryans, who had an excellent scheme ready for Josh Allen on a short week, knowing that he had the backup quarterback, I'm very excited to see what DeMeco Ryans can come up with 10-plus days to get ready for the Indianapolis Colts. I love the chances that this Texans defense keeps it rolling against the Indianapolis Colts, even though the Colts have much more overall talent on their offense, quarterback not included, than the Buffalo Bills. The Colts have better receivers than the Bills. The Colts have a better offensive line than the Bills. The Colts have a better running back than the Bills. The Colts have a better tight end than the Bills. The only thing they don't have that's better than the Bills is a quarterback. But DeMeco Ryans, with 10-plus days to scheme up this game for the Indianapolis Colts, I'm very excited to see what his defense can do to the Colts. I'm also intrigued with what Shane Steichen has been able to do, cobbling together offenses with subpar quarterback play. And Daniel Jones has had some really nice moments, obviously, in 2025 so far, but he's had some really crappy moments in the past few weeks. And there's obviously the Daniel Jones that he actually is, the Daniel Jones that he's been. The Daniel Jones that he actually is not a good enough quarterback for the Colts to keep this going. But if they can cobble together that good Daniel Jones stuff, maybe, just maybe, they'll have enough. I don't know that they're going to be able to do that against the Houston Texans defense. So I'm very excited for this next chapter in Steichen v. Ryans that is headed our way. Yeah, man, he knows about it. The Tommy Togiai emoji. The big S for the support of Samoa. Nick Jones. Random thought, after what Chip Kelly did, if D'Amico moves on from Kelly, has to be an NFL guy they hire for OC. If they move on from Chip Kelly, I'll have a 40-name list of guys that they go with. You probably aren't going to the Rams again, but I'd call Dave Ragone. Has Stroud lost in Indy yet? He is 2-0 in Indianapolis. Started the year in 2024. Obviously, Joe Mixon had that huge game, and then Stroud hit the beeline on the sideline for Nico Collins to seal the deal in that game. And then 2023, they finished the year in Indy with that victory. Now, Indy helped them out a little bit, but they finished the year in Indy with that victory. Dom from New Jersey, my good friend. Fantastic to hear from you. Happy Thanksgiving, pal. I'm so amped for Sunday. Feeling night and day different about this team suddenly. And go Cowboys tomorrow. Yeah, it sounds dirty to say, right? But you'd love to see the Cowboys sock it to the Kansas City Chiefs, make it tough for Kansas City to hang around this AFC wild card picture. They're not going to climb over both those teams to win the AFC West. I certainly don't think that's going to be the case. So you'd love to get some help and also take care of your own business against those nasty, dastardly Kansas City Chiefs, which is going to be a week from Sunday on Sunday Night Football in Kansas City. Might be worth making the trip for that one. But, the Cowboys, you can use a big Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens game against that Kansas City Chiefs team to help you out there in the AFC wildcard picture. And happy Thanksgiving to you, Dom, your wonderful family, and appreciate your fantastic support here on the channel. JB Allen with a super chat. Have you heard of an undisclosed Daniel Jones leg injury? If Jones is limping even a little, he's toast. Yeah, Daniel Jones apparently has a fibula that he's dealing with. It's a little banged up. Not enough to make him miss, but it has affected his ability a little bit. So, yeah, he does have a leg injury that's a little tough to deal with, is the hot rumor around there. Go get Ryan Fitzpatrick and let him be the big brain of this offense. Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm good on that. Patrick, I had to tell this story. I'll tell the Shane Steichen story. If you haven't heard the Shane Steichen story, I'll tell the Shane Steichen story because I told it to my buddies in Buffalo on the Tank Talk podcast yesterday, and they were dying. They were laughing so hard. So the owners' meetings in March, Shane Steichen was obviously there for the Colts, and the owners' meetings, it's all the owners and the head coaches, and they have like a coach's breakfast, and there's a big banquet one of the nights, and they invite the media, and it's all for the media and coaches and all the different people across the NFL to kind of mingle and hang out. It's at this older hotel in West Palm Beach, and the way that the urinals were set up in the bathroom is a very narrow bathroom, and it was 2 urinals on the left and then 2 urinals on the right, and the second urinal on the left and the first urinal on the right were across from each other. Well, I walked in to use the restroom. Shane Steichen's using the first urinal on the right side, and I go to the second urinal on the left side. I'm using the restroom, and what I believe to very clearly be a Shane Steichen fart slips out. Now we're back to back, not real close, but his back is across from my back, and that man farted on me. And then when he went to wash his hands, I'm kind of thinking to myself, surely he didn't just fart on me. I kind of looked over to my left, and he gave me the old, yeah, I farted on you. So, yeah, Shane Steichen. He's got some gas. And you know what? That's turned around the Colts. They've been excellent since that moment. So, I want the defense to go get some revenge on Shane Steichen for me. Damn it. That man farted on me. My wife liked the Texans' Christmas uniforms last Thursday. LOL. If they ever wear the red lids, the red jerseys, and the white pants, that will be the most Christmas combination that they could ever put together. If Ballard could find a QB, we'd be in trouble. Steichen's a real good coach. Steichen is excellent. And if the Texans hadn't hired DeMeco Ryans, that's who I wanted them to hire, was Shane Steichen. Steichen is excellent. He looks kind of like – he's got this thing where he looks a little bit like a vampire, but he's clearly an excellent offensive mind. He's cobbled together some impressive offenses with some unimpressive quarterbacks. He's a really good coach. He's a really good coach. Unpopular opinion. Hopefully the offense completely figures it out, offensive line, etc. Match the intensity of the defense. Will be dangerous if we make it to the postseason. Got to get there. Got to get there, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I've learned if I've learned anything, it's to never bet on the Cowboys to win. Yeah, they've let plenty of people down. They've let plenty of people down. Mike says, I have a feeling we see a brawl. Will and Daniil hunting. Nelson's going to be frustrated. One definitely clean. Aziz hit. Nelson might snap. Yeah, Quentin Nelson. Some of those other fellas there on that Colts offensive line. They're not fake tough guys. They're not fake tough guys. Assault with a deadly weapon. Yeah. Yep. Steichen's all gas, no brakes. That's very true. It's very true. Andy says CJ takes the defense, gives him short passes that occasionally go long, then he could take less hits and sacks. Yep. Get rid of the football. You take less hits. Get rid of the football. You don't have to worry about trying to extend the play and make something happen. Certainly. All right, one final thing here. Landry asked a fantastic question about what was probably my favorite player in the 2025 NFL draft. He ended up on the Indianapolis Colts. I hate it. I hate that he's on the Indianapolis Colts, but man, is this guy damn good at what he do. Already one of the best in the NFL at what he does. DeMeco Ryans on Tyler Warren.
What do you see Tyler Warren, what he's added to their offense?
Yeah, Tyler Warren, he's a playmaker, man. That's wherever you get this kid the ball, like he's explosive, a little faster than you think, tougher than you think. And he showed that at Penn State. Like he was a one-man wrecking crew. Like he did a really nice job at Penn State, and it's carried over here to the league. He's still doing a nice job, and you can see they're trying to put him in spots to get him the football because he is that type of guy. He's a playmaker, a guy seems like you can trust, you can count on him. Like he continues to show up play after play, down after down for those guys.
It doesn't matter how they get in the rock. Tyler Warren goes out there and makes plays for the Indianapolis Colts, and he starts a stretch and a streak of really tough tight ends for the Texans. Tyler Warren this week, Travis Kelce next week, Trey McBride and Brock Bowers come to town, and then Gatson for the Los Angeles Chargers, and then Warren again to wrap this thing up. I've never seen a stretch of opposing tight ends quite like this. What a fantastic opportunity for this defense to maybe replicate some of the success they had against George Kittle. Kittle did not have a huge day against this defense. And that was one of my biggest concerns with the 49ers coming to town was I didn't know that they had somebody to stop George Kittle. Now, Kittle still caught a touchdown, got to about, I think, 48 yards in that game, but he did not have a huge day. DeMeco Ryans had answers for George Kittle. Now, part of that was Mac Jones was the quarterback. They were getting some good pressure on Mac Jones. They took away the middle of the field. It won't be that easy against Warren and Kelce and McBride and Bowers and Gatson and Warren. Okay, it won't be that easy. But if they could carry over some of that success, what worked against Kittle, and use it against Warren, it'll go a long way into beating up these Indianapolis Colts and getting a victory on Sunday in Indianapolis. So I am very intrigued to watch the first of many games for Tyler Warren. Unfortunately, he's on one of the hated rivals of the Houston Texans. But I can still like him 15 games out of the year. I just want him to suck to high heaven for 2 games a year. And I desperately am trying to find me a Tyler Warren rookie card. I love this rookie class. I'm trying to find rookie cards for a bunch of different rookies. If you're a card person, by the way, I do want to – this is an unpaid advertisement, okay? An unpaid advertisement, as some people call them. Walmart has a Black Friday football tin deal. It's $25, and you get a lunchbox. They have a bunch of different players. They have like CeeDee Lamb, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. But Walmart, $25, it comes out like $27.50, $27.05, whatever it is. But Walmart has these. I found mine at the front of the store. You get a chance at a graded football card, and then you get 6 packs of cards to open. And I love cracking packs. I love ripping packs. We may have a card store sponsor here in the next couple of days and opportunities for you guys to win some football cards. But I love cracking open a thing of football cards and going through and collecting some rookies. And I don't collect them necessarily to resell them and have some sort of, I'm not, I do like the gambling high of potentially getting an awesome card, but I just like the look of some of these cards. But these tins, and you get the lunchbox too, are very fun. And for $25, it's a pretty good investment. Some of these cards are grossly expensive. This is not. You get 6 packs. It'd be fun. You got a kiddo, or you're going to see one of the family members for the holidays. Bring them one of these little Walmart packs, and they can have some fun opening that thing up. And I will tell you this: if you pick up the tins at Walmart, the heavier the tin, the more likely you're getting a graded card associated with that. That's all I'll say about that. But we will do some pack stuff. As Dime says, cracking packs. We'll crack some packs on Friday. We'll do a pack crack on Friday. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to do a crack pack on Friday, and I'll give the cards away. Whatever it is, whatever I crack, I'll give the cards away to somebody. So we'll figure out how to do that on Friday. But we'll crack some packs on Friday. We'll have some fun. We'll have some fun on Friday with the checkmark game and all that kind of stuff. So, okay. Some housekeeping stuff. SNL this evening, probably be the 6 o'clock stream tonight. It might be a little late for some people. You might be getting into holiday festivities, things like that. If you can watch, sure, catch it tomorrow. We'll have some SNL stuff for you on Thanksgiving. So that'll be fun. Won't be live, but we'll have some stuff for you. And then we'll be back live on SNL on Friday. I'll have Friday morning for you. Caffeine with Cody Friday morning. What else? Practice today. CJ practices, finishes his concussion protocol stuff. He'll be out of concussion protocol. Should hear from Stroud today. If not, we might hear from him Friday. And yeah, that's it, man. If you're traveling for Thanksgiving, have a safe bit of travel. It's one of the busiest travel days of the entire year in the United States. So have some safe travel if you're traveling for Thanksgiving. If you're celebrating with friends and family, enjoy. Be thankful for your friends, your family, your colleagues at work that you like, even your colleagues that you don't like. Be thankful for them. I'm very thankful for Houston football and all the fantastic people that watch and interact and comment and super chat and are members and everything. So I'm very thankful for everything that you provide to me. It is greatly appreciated. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. If you have to work during Thanksgiving, thank you for working in whatever field you work in, so that other people can enjoy their holiday. And yeah, I don't think I always every Thanksgiving have done a great job of being thankful for what I have, but I'm very thankful for what I have here with Houston football, with SNL. I'm thankful to have all of you in my life and talk about football all the time. And thankful for this fantastic little stretch here that the Houston Texans have to talk about as well. So appreciate everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Safe travels. We'll see you on SNL this evening if you have a chance to watch it. And if not, we'll see you Friday morning for the checkmark game and so much more as we get ready for this Texans and Colts game. So happy Thanksgiving to you and to yours. And we end the live streams the same way each and every time. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, I'm done.